Someone else pissed in my seat. Someone pissed in my seat. Is that how it works around here? Well, Shivani's old. And ladies and gentlemen, breaking news. Tony Khan's big announcement is it'll be a Shivani's piss on a pole match. Vince Russo has struck again. I'm John Recton with my review of AEW Dynamite from the UNO Lakefront Arena in New Orleans, Louisiana. A stronghold of Mid-South Wrestling. New Orleans, Louisiana, reduced to having about 2,100 people in a roughly 10K capacity building. I will say the crowd that was there tried to make as much noise as possible, and I do have some things I liked on this show, but my oh my, AEW weekly programming, for every positive there is, there's two things that just negate whatever positive momentum they have. There are a couple things that they're really trying to juice up. God damn it, though. Just so many of the bad things are fucking self-inflicted. Anyway, let me know your thoughts on this show in the comments, please. We're on the road to Revolution. We are just over a month away from Sting's last match. So anyway, Moxley makes his long entrance, which was probably just as well because it would have given us less time to watch him try to get something out of Jeff Hardy. Jeff Hardy can't go anymore. He can't goddamn go anymore. Oh, and there's some CMLL guys in the front row, because apparently they're going to do this invasion type thing or whatever. You know what? Cross promotion isn't the worst thing in the world. I just don't know if this is necessarily the way to do it. They tried to make it like it was the Radicals. I hope that one of these guys doesn't have their dogs in an enclosed pool area and the side garage door open. So it's Moxley versus Jeff Hardy. Look, I'm not the biggest Moxley fan, but he can wrestle when he wants to. He tends to rely on just doing the shitty brawling and everything, stuff where it works in spurts, but not all the time. Jeff flat out can't fucking go anymore. Matt can't fucking go anymore. I respect what they have done for professional wrestling. The Hardys, one of my favorite teams for a number of years, and they broke their bodies. They also gave in the bad personal habits and have done a lot of shit to themselves. A lot of it self-inflicted. Some stuff is just for the love of the game, but Jeff can't fucking go anymore. And there was one line that just absolutely made me laugh. The rules for this match will be lax, as opposed to the other matches where the referees either just stand there, just slackjaw, go away, we're supposed to enforce rules, what are we doing? And there are some very, very smart referees on this roster. And Rick Knox, but some very smart referees. And also Rick Knox, who just should go find something else to do. The Bucks, God damn it, the Bucks have just absolutely just, brought this company down by hiring so many of their friends. I'm glad people are actually getting a chance to make money, but seriously, that money could be put somewhere else. To hire people like Hammerstone or Jacob Fatu, or literally a lot of people on the independents that are doing really good shit. There's a lot of referees on the indies that could do much better than Rick Knox ever could on his best day. And he hasn't had any best days since about 1492. So, Tony Khan will make a big announcement next week. Enough with the big goddamn announcements. Just enough. It worked the first time. It sort of worked the second time. What is it going to be? More Wembley tickets will go on sale? Oh, Revolution? We're going to, open up the entire Greensboro Memorial Coliseum? We're going to run Double or Nothing over 2 nights? What do you think the big announcement's going to be? You notice how I'm not talking much about this match? Because it wasn't very good. Because Jeff Hardy, it literally looks like he is laboring just to get, to his feet. Mox gets in the luchadors' face, or the respective faces. There's one guy I think that teamed with Rocky Romero, or against Rocky Romero at the most recent New Japan Battle in the Valley event. Most recent U.S. event, that is. And this guy looks like he spent about 3 years on the surface of the sun. What happened to him? Jeff just couldn't do anything. He landed awkwardly doing the Whisper in the Wind. It took him about 8 years to hit it. There's no selling for Mox, and he wins with the choke. That's about all we get for the match. And then Jeff won't shake the hand because he's being all taking these losses to heart. He should be happy he's cashing any goddamn checks at nearly 47 years old with the knees of a 77-year-old. The CMLO guys run into the ring, and apparently the Blackpool Combat Club guys aren't there. They just didn't get their plane tickets or something, But Danielson's going to take on one of the guys that, based on the graphic, kind of looked like Viano 6. I know nothing about CMLL, and I'm not disrespecting these guys at all. The security guys do come out. That was kind of funny. And then Matt Seidel, Daniels, and the former 2.0 guys, Menard and Magic, whatever, they show up. Menard and Luke. Luke Cage would have been better off here, and Luke Cage is a fictional character. But, yeah, those guys show up, and then everybody else runs off. Hangman TA took on Toa Leona in a dealer's choice match. And there's something funny about the main event that was, like, promoted, like, it's like, or just suddenly shoved out, that made me actually retroactively get a little bit more annoyed at this match. One, Hangman TA is as good as he's ever going to be. I don't hate him necessarily as a person. I do like how he basically just fired back at Kane for a lot of his stupidity before I think Hangman either left Twitter or just doesn't tweet anymore. I don't necessarily know. Toa Leona is a pretty decent big guy. I'm not saying he's ever going to be a world champion. I don't know if he'll ever be a mid-card champion. He at least got a chance to shine here in a singles match. The biggest issue with AEW programming, this is a big issue with WWE programming, the weekly stuff. They need to almost go the Nitro formula if you're going to go 3 hours or 2 hours and just pack more shit in. Now, I'm not saying bam, 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 make, do fights in the back, go to the ring, fight in the back, that kind of stuff. I'm not saying do that. Do more video packages, do stuff, have some matches, go longer if necessary. But there are just some matches that shouldn't go. Like, Jeff Hardy and Mox went about 15 to 20 minutes, at least, and should have gone maybe 10. This probably should have gone about 10 and felt like it went about 20 to 25. Toa dominated for a bit. There was a nice spot where he took some lariats when Hangman jumped off the ropes, and then Toa just tossed him to the goddamn floor. The problem is when Hangman doesn't really seem to give a shit, he just kind of just does his usual stuff, going through the motions. The dead eye, he hits that finally. Big pop, no sell. The apron senton, the hardest part of the ring. Toa eventually goes back in the ring, gets back out, and does a moonsault off the apron. Impressive stuff. There's no bounce. He does that, but he ends up missing, hitting the floor. And then Hangman hits his moonsault, and then eventually gets a crucifix out of a Samoan drop, 1, 2, 3. All right. Toa didn't necessarily get hit with the finish, so I guess that's their way of protecting him. So earlier today, the Bucks yelled at a guy that didn't introduce them by their proper names, hand him the formats, and fined him $500. I want to remind everybody the Bucks should not actually have ever earned more than $500 from Tony Khan, because they have provided absolutely nothing to the program, nothing positive. So anyway, Wardlow, or Mr. Wardlow, aka Mr. Mayhem Wardlow. Look, Dasha is talented. Mistakes happen. Mr. Wardlow is his name now, though. He took on Commander, and look, Adam Cole, baby, joined commentary, and I'm sorry, I've written off this Undisputed Kingdom stuff. I have nothing against the people in particular. I like Mike Bennett. Him and Matt Taven are a good team. Strong is good when he doesn't fucking talk. And Wardlow has been in the company for how long now? He joined MJF pretty soon after they went, they started Dynamite, right? So, over 4 years. Yes, he's had time where he's been off due to injury. He's been off due to whatever, personal matters. But by and large, he has been on television. He's had a decent presence for 4 years. They can't repair him. I don't care what they try. He can hit impressive stuff. He can do everything that he's done, and it's not going to matter, because the people that like him, and I like Wardlow, I want Wardlow to succeed, but I've pretty much just written off this whole thing because the Undisputed Kingdom all acted like goofs, and Wardlow was being all serious, but now they're doing the thing where Wardlow's going to be the guy to hand the title over to Adam Cole, and that's if Adam Cole's even going to wrestle this year. He might not. The ankle may not heal. Commander tried I don't know what he was trying to do, but he certainly tried doing it. He did hit a Phoenix Splash where his leg ended up right on Wardlow's throat. He could have busted his trachea. Somebody needs to tell this guy, frickin' slow down and hit your shit correct, or don't fucking do it. And Wardlow did hurt his knee at one point, and apparently his knee's fine, but he did a powerbomb and favored his knee, but got the victory. All right. Don't ever let Roderick Strong talk again. That's all I said. Here come the best friends. And then I just instantly hit the fast forward button until we got to Shivani. Starks and Bill, Sting and Darby. It was about respect. Starks, it still sticks in his craw that he lost to Sting in Sting's comeback match, his first ever match in AEW, cinematic or otherwise. He still lost. And Starks and Darby were fired up here. This is good. This actually was one of the few bright spots of the show that wasn't muddled in a whole bunch of shit. All about respect and blame, and Starks is tired of being disrespected. There you go. There wasn't a big crowd. Some of them seemed to be singing Judas, but I'm going to say right now that the stuff with Jericho, look, they did the Jericho cruise. Jericho shouldn't be wrestling, nor should he be singing. David Bowie should rise up from his goddamn grave and just slap Jericho about the head and face. And Big Show, a.k.a. Paul White, should not be wrestling. He shouldn't be. I'm sorry. He shouldn't be. I respect what he's provided to wrestling. He looks like he's in pain. Retire. You don't have anything left to prove. What this match had to prove, though, was, and what it did prove, rather, was that Kyle Fletcher had to slow everything down for Chris Jericho. It's Jericho versus Kyle Fletcher, who apparently won the Ring of Honor TV Championship at some point. I assume he won that tournament after Samoa Joe relinquished it or something. I don't care. Who did he beat for the TV Championship? I don't pay enough attention to Ring of Honor. It's only so many hours in a day. Jericho can't go anymore. Don Callis being involved in this stuff is just walking death. Terrible fake punches by Jericho. Good God, he could have slapped the air 5 feet above Kyle Fletcher and somehow hit him more. And I hate to use the word fake. You know that when something's bad, I have to use the word fake. Is there nothing fake about wrestling? Unless you have somebody like Jericho doing fake shit. Like he's a fake singer. And like he's a fake good guy. Because he ain't a good guy, folks. Somebody that donates money to that guy and has a wife that thinks that highly of that guy ain't good. And who allegedly may have done something with Kylie Ray. Who knows? Guarantee you that even if that part ain't true, I guarantee you there's more women. Callis and Hobbs interfere. There's a badly timed interference spot with Hobbs. The walls are locked on. Eventually, Fletcher gets to the goddamn ropes. A code breaker, sort of. Look, Jericho is fucking washed. Khan made a mistake signing him to a big deal. He could have just let him walk or said, hey, I'll sign you to a deal through to the beginning of 2025. And then we'll just go about our separate ways. But eventually he hit a Judas effect when Fletcher did a dive and then hit a diving Judas effect, even though it was just a back diving elbow 1, 2, 3. Takeshita's on the stage. We're getting that match next week. That's going to be a test for Takeshita. Because Jericho was washed. Deanna was talking about how her and Tony have matching duck tattoos, and that quacked me up. So the Gangbang Scissor Gang is here. Billy is the most over member of this group, is what I noted. Billy Gunn has not been this over since DX's heyday. And I'm not saying he was he was good in his singles runs. What ended up happening was injuries and other stuff, and he's almost 60. Jeff Hardy, who opened the goddamn show, is in his mid to upper 40s. And then, yeah, you have Wardlow, who's mid-30s, and his prime is going to be cut short if they don't figure out something good to do with him. And then you also have, you have Billy Gunn, who, again, I love Billy Gunn, but is it kind of becoming now a bit of a thing that's holding the Acclaim back? Because I don't know. It's still over with the fans, but you have to wonder how much, what's the end game here for the Acclaimed? Because how much longer is Billy going to be wrestling? How much longer is he going to want to appear on TV? I mean, he started in like the late 80s. Deonna Purrazzo took on Taya Valkyrie, who has Johnny TV, a.k.a. John Morrison, a.k.a. Johnny Mundo, a.k.a. Johnny, whatever nickname. Just should have called him Johnny Elite. Or Johnny All. No, Johnny All wouldn't have worked. Fine, Johnny TV, whatever. At least he's on TV. Toni Storm joined commentary. I'm 50-50 on the Toni Storm stuff. I find her entertaining. There are times where I like some of the lines she says, but some of it's starting to grate on me. Some of it's starting to wear on me a little bit. These two can work. Taya can work. I don't know about the Sgt. Pepper jacket, but you know what? She's fashionable. And Deonna has a good look. And again, both of them can work. This ended up kind of just being okay. It wasn't that they did anything bad, just something didn't click. Maybe it was because nobody had a reason to really care about them facing off, because Taya had cut a promo about Deonna jumping the line. Even though Taya had done, and I'm not knocking Taya. Taya was just saying what she was either told or came up with this stuff, and nobody had the foresight to remember back when she challenged Jade. You know, Jade, who's now in WWE. But she jumped the line to get a TBS title shot, I guess. Tony was wanting to pick the commentary team's bone. I think that's what I got there. Later, Taya, ended up in Tony's lap, and then we got a double trap. You know, the arm trap thing, where basically Taya's arms were up like this, and she had to tap out into titties. She had to go with Deonna's Virtuo tits. I don't know what the hell I'm on about here. That's where Tony said the line about somebody pissing in her seat. The Bucks interrupt Darby's promo. Hey, Sting's taking a lot of money from you, and you're taking a lot of money from Tony Khan. The day that the Bucks are not wrestling anymore, see, the Bucks did not need to be re-signed. I'm sorry. Tell me the last Bucks segment that you enjoyed that actually was beneficial to the program. Sure, they're leaning into the fact that they're fucking douchebags. This is not going to get any new eyeballs on the program. Joe's out to join commentary. Swerve's all serious. No Nana, no swerves when he drives, because they wasted Nana going through a table last week, which I actually totally forgot about until they told me. And then I was like, oh yeah, I was pissed off they wasted that. Who's his opponent? Gee, they've been hinting that it's 4:20, or you won't last 4 minutes and 20 seconds, that there was a weird odor backstage. It was RVD. It was RVD. It was already told when Hangman said, I don't think you're... It's like, you will just have to wait the whole effing show to find out. Look, RVD got a good pop, and that's great. And I like RVD. RVD has a great style. He can still go. He's also one of the few ECW originals that isn't a concussed CTE-ridden drooling vegetable. And I'm not knocking, I'm not picking on him, but that's how a lot of the ECW talents are. Or worse, they're, Bully Ray, who is a goddamn idiot. Swerve and RVD, dealer's choice match. But then Hangman says, hey, you didn't read the fine print, because we can pick the opponent and the stipulation. And it's going to be a hardcore match. Okay. They made Swerve look like an idiot, because Swerve could have said, hey, it's going to be a last man standing match. Or a submission match against Toa Leona. Or last man standing something. Street fight. No, they just made Swerve look like an idiot. RVD's feet have damaged more teeth than gingivitis. Samoa Joe was having a good time on commentary. This is sadly the best thing on the show, and I say sadly because it highlights something that I had a problem with in the opening match, and something I have a problem with AEW in general, because if I knock WWE for having a lot of older talents that don't have a lot of years left, Punk, who's injured, Cody, who's near 40, Roman, who's close to 40, LA Knight, AJ Styles, who's in his mid-40s, Orton, who's just about a year older than I am, but back fusion surgery, so he's going to be 44 this year. Have a lot. Yes, they have the younger talents, but AEW is supposed to be about the next generation. It was supposed to be bringing in some veterans, but really was just supposed to be about this next generation. And they're not featuring that well. Anytime they do, they pull back on it. They've had chance after chance after chance to use the veterans properly. Sometimes they do, and then they instantly take it away. Look, RVD was fired up. They instantly started chanting, "We want tables." So they're cheering for the furniture again. There was the guardrail kick that he does, that RVD does to a pop. RVD also looked like he went to the Sting school of dyeing his hair. We got a powerbomb on a chair for 2. Brian Cage runs in. And then they said, "Hook!" with a chair. So Hook or VD has been reunited. And it feels so righted. A flatliner for 2, a stomp on the chair outside, and then a table bump where Swerve got the chair slammed into his face and fell to the floor. By the way, Cage and Hook just fought off. They just fought off over there. Just went over there 50 feet over that way. And the crowd was just looking and then said, "Oh yeah, a match is going on." So the 5-star misses. House call. Kicking a chair in the face. 1, 2, kick out. And then a stomp. 1, 2, 3. And then Hangman TA comes out to cut a promo. I'm the next champ, not you. Swerve's like, "I beaten you twice, and you can't beat me." And Hangman's like, "Oh, well, the Mughal embassy's been there. You can't beat me one-on-one." He's beaten him twice, though. He still has beaten him twice. I'm just saying. So you're kind of pushing Swerve down to try and elevate Hangman, who, I'm sorry, you could give Hangman the World Championship again. It'll be even worse than it was the first time. It was fine when he won it. He had those great matches with Danielson, and by the time we got to Revolution, it was over. That being said, speaking of over, this is over. This is absolutely over. AEW has to do something where they have to start highlighting better, younger talents, pushing people like Swerve, pushing people that actually can be beneficial, utilizing the veterans that work and that can still go. Samoa Joe can, but Samoa Joe is a quick fix. He's not a long-term solution. By the time we get to the end of 2025, he's probably going to be done because he's in his mid-40s. He can still do some good stuff, but it's frustrating. Speaking of frustrating, I'm kind of frustrated with Collision, so if I don't review it this week, don't be surprised. Agree, disagree, what I said, like, share, subscribe, Twitter handle in the description. I'm John Ritlin. I'll see you soon.